Hey kids, welcome to the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0. I'm the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the conquistador, Dave Height.
This will be hitting on the weekend of 5/29/21, Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, parties,
Woohoo!
barbecue, food. Big news for the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0. We are now available Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, and Castbox. We decided, in the best interest of reaching out to as many of you as we could,
since nobody listens to this,
nobody had the balls to go out and set up a Spotify account, which takes 2 minutes.
So obviously you don't care about the music we play.
We decided we'll still review music, but you will not get the music segments anymore that keep us from being on all those other hosting sites. That being said, we're going to start off with music. Ha, ha, ha! The irony. Big news for the maestro this week. Massive big news. The Conquistador will obviously concur.
Maybe.
Night Ranger is coming out with a new album.
The Ranger is back.
One of the most prolific bands from the 80s is still rocking out. The new album will be out August the 6th. The first single is on YouTube and Spotify. It is called Breakout. It is awesome. The guitar is unbelievable. It is the typical dual attack that you would expect from Night Ranger.
Gotta love it.
I love the title of the album, too. You'll sit there and you'll wonder, ATBPO is the name of the new album. Maestro, what the hell does that mean? Maestro, what the hell does that have anything to do with? You know what it means? Because they recorded it under the COVID situation. And the band played on.
And yes, they did.
Very cool. Very cool. And Breakout is awesome. Breakout is fantastic.
They were the only concert at the tail end of last year that we actually got to see.
Thank God for the Amish.
Local little venue was about quarter full?
Yeah.
They had everybody spaced out, and never have I seen a band more enthused to be on stage.
No. They always put on a great show, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like we'll be able to see them on this tour because I checked the itinerary, and I think we have another engagement that particular day.
There we go.
But it does happen for Mrs. C and the Conquistador and I because we go see so many concerts. There are conflicts.
They do pop up.
Yeah, they do happen. So
especially when you have to buy tickets a damn far in advance, and after COVID hit, everything got delayed.
But we'll see them again. You know that's going to happen. We've seen them a bunch of times, and we will see them a few more times.
If you get the chance,
it's all said and done.
If you get the chance, check them out. They put on a hell of a show.
Don't pigeonhole them as an 80s legacy band. They are still putting out new music more than almost anybody else. I would say maybe Springsteen puts out more new music than them, but Night Ranger's probably second. Seriously.
Check them out. It's well worth it.
All right. There might be a new supergroup forming.
Ooh, we like supergroups.
The LA Rats. Nikki Sixx, John 5, and Rob Zombie.
Wow.
Have put out a song. They hint that there might be more to come. We've heard this before.
Yeah, we've been disappointed many times through the years.
Sometimes there is an album or two. Sometimes you get one song and that's it.
Collaboration can fall apart. You never know.
And this is the 25th anniversary. Again, if we were playing music, as we are not, because we want to reach out to you in all the formats we possibly can. Normally, we would probably play a song off of Soundgarden's Down on the Upside, because May the 21st was the 25th anniversary of the release of that album.
God, it's been that long. Wow.
Yeah. That was the first breakup after that one. And they came back together, and then, of course, Chris Cornell died. So I am a big Soundgarden fan, and I thought Down on the Upside was vastly underrated. But when that came out, that was kind of when physical album sales, CD sales were plummeting.
Yeah.
So they got caught up in that, and I think that's part of the reason why they bailed. But then, of course, Chris Cornell went into Audioslave, who were freaking awesome. It's amazing how you can take a piece of crap band like Rage Against the Machine
and insert some talent.
Yeah, and then you get a great band, an awesome band. Now, I do have a quick music review. The Counting Crows put out Butter Miracle Sweet 1 this past Friday, an EP, 4 songs, promising to put out Sweet 2 and a full album later. I know you're not the biggest fan, Conquistador, of the Counting Crows, but
I enjoy their music.
I love this. I love the 4 songs that they put out. 2 of them are about life on the road as a rock band.
Could be.
One of the 2 that they claim to be about touring sounds a lot like a Bruce Springsteen song to me. I mean, just really sounds like The Boss. But overall, it's Counting Crows. It's good Counting Crows. 3.5 frenzies.
Wow.
Well, it's only 4 songs.
But still.
There's not that much room to screw up.
This is true. You take the 4 best that you have.
Yeah. But
yeah,
we'll see what happens when they come out with the second part of this album.
Yeah.
So, but for the first 4 songs, loving it. 3.5 frenzies. And again, we're not doing music on our breaks anymore, so no Soundgarden, no Counting Crows. I just want to bring up real quick, there was another release from the upcoming Mammoth WVH album. Wolfie is just doing everything he can.
Get the music out there.
He has released basically half the new album already.
Yeah.
And I have talked about with the Conquistador in the past.
This is good stuff that he's putting out there, kids.
Yeah. Out of the 6 songs he's put out, 5 of them are fantastic. 1, Think It Over, I kind of have a problem with. But
it's mediocre. But the others, the kid knows what he's doing.
Yeah. This is very promising. I'm hoping they get out on tour.
Yep.
Love to see them.
They do. We will
20 Monroe would be a great place to see Mammoth WVH.
Yes. Yeah, that would be a phenomenal setting for them.
David, I think you have a book review for us.
I have a book review for us. Stephen Hunter, whose first big hit, I Sniper, started the Bob Lee Swagger Sniper series. And this, of course, has been a movie. It's been a series on USA. Steps away from his typical and goes with a World War II tale in Basil's War. Basil is your British black sheep of the family, who is all about the party, all about betting whichever actress he can, but yet he's one of Britain's greatest spies behind enemy lines in German territory. It was entertaining. This one bounces back and forth a little bit from the briefings to the actual mission and revealing a secret spy that the Germans have in Britain. So it's kind of an intriguing way he sets this up, with learning what he's supposed to be looking for and what he's actually doing and going about it. And on the German side, them trying to find him based on the secret spy's information. So hell of a read. It was good. It's quick. It's short. You'll enjoy it. It's a nice change of pace going back to the old days of the World War II Allies versus Axis instead of all the terrorist stuff you have nowadays. So I give it a solid 3 frenzies.
Very good. Very good. Now, we're going to take a break. Forgive me for not being used to this, but this will be a promo break, not a music break.
No interludes.
Again, so we can put this out to everybody all over the place, including Apple and Google and Breaker and all you other great podcast hosts who have taken us on over the last couple months. We'll be right back with a ton of television and movie reviews. So Stay tuned, kids.
Lots of news coming.
Stuck in a no-win situation? Wife being held captive while your feet bleed? Take a second to decompress. Pull out your smartphone and listen to Sports Frenzy 2.0 on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, and Castbox. And don't forget to check out their Facebook page. The Maestro and the Conquistador will take your mind off your dire predicament and give you the best non-PC sports commentary you'll find anywhere. And once you compose your exit strategy and take down some German terrorists, you'll want to yell, "Yippee-ki-yay, Sports Frenzy 2.0! Hey, everybody in podcast land, welcome back to Sports Frenzy 2.0. I am the Maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
Welcome to the weekend edition, which is available all over podcast land, Google, Spotify, Apple, everywhere you listen to your podcasts. Hopefully, we will become one of your favorites. Please rate us wherever you do listen to us. We have gotten movie reviews for you this week. Of course, every week now, the Conquistador and I have agreed to review at least one movie together.
Yep.
Separate yet together.
And this week we chose to do The New Mutants,
which is the final movie that Fox did before the rat bought them out.
Yep. And this is, what was it? Did they say the 13th film in the X-Men?
Yes, technically the 13th
series.
Film in the X-Men series. Yes. So what did you think, Dave?
Why did I waste my time?
I knew it was coming. I knew it.
It had great potential. I liked the premise of where it was going. I should have known better by the director who did The Fault in Our Stars. It went way too PC sappy crap. The character interaction was almost too damn predictable. It felt almost like a made-for-TV movie almost. And I watched this with my oldest, who thoroughly loved all of the X-Men films, and he felt the same way I did, that it just did not live up. That we felt this was probably one of the weakest Marvel associated films. Special effects were fantastic. Absolutely loved that part of it, but I just did not, it didn't do anything for me. So I'm going 1.5 frenzies on it.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. I had a feeling. That is the majority view on it. Seems to be that. And of course, this movie was delayed for 2.5 years.
And they couldn't have come up with a better cut?
Well, they did. They actually tried to. It was originally supposed to be out, I think, in 2019, 2018. And yeah, they tried to recut it and tried to redo it. I'm going to give you a little background. I actually had the original New Mutants comic book.
Okay.
1983 was when they got their own standalone series. Chris Claremont, the genius behind the X-Men, the resurrection of the X-Men, when it was Wolverine and Cyclops and Storm, the ones we all know now, not the originals back in the 60s.
Right.
I thought they did a really damn good job. I really did. They brought in 4 of the original 5 New Mutants. The problem is they didn't try to bring in people like you to understand this was part of the X-Men universe, besides the token references to my superior, which didn't even turn out to be Professor X.
It left a lot on the table.
The only reference they really made to the original New Mutants outside of the characters was when Sam was trying to, at the beginning of the movie, test his abilities, and he chained himself to that big hunk of Grant, and Rain said he thrashes around like a cannonball. That was his name in the New Mutants in the early 80s.
Cannonball.
Yeah. But now
I like the powers, but just the story falls
I understand.
So damn
I completely understand. Now, Roberto was an original. He was Sunspot. Rain was Wolfsbane. And Danny was, she to me was always a weak link in the New Mutants, but of course in this movie she turns out to be the one that,
the linchpin,
that causes everything. And then Magic, aka Ilyana, comes in a little bit later. But see, to me it was all pretty true. So I'm going to probably give it a better review than most people would. I would give it a 3 Frenzies. Now, I will rip apart certain parts of it. Here you go. I do not understand the whole smiley face crap.
That was one of the issues I had with it.
I do not know, and I did not want to sit there for an hour on Google or Wikipedia trying to figure that out. I do not remember where that comes from. Now, Lockheed might have looked stupid to somebody who doesn't understand the history, the puppet that she had.
Oh, I had no problem with that.
Lockheed is actually a reference back to the X-Men, which is very cool. Very cool. But I can understand how it would look stupid to somebody.
See, now
her having a puppet.
I did not have a problem with her having the puppet.
Right.
Because I figured, all right, it's her way of coping with whatever, and then the way it developed through, it worked.
Mm-hmm.
I did not mind that part. It's just, for this, trying to introduce them, it just fell flat.
Right. It did not. It was trying to be dark, and I'd read stories about how he was trying to make it into a horror movie, more so than a superhero movie.
And that's kind of where I had an issue as well.
Okay. And I can understand it. I will give it more of a benefit of the doubt than most would. So I'm going to give it 3 Frenzies.
With you having read it, I can see where you would do that. But just coming into it, it's not the typical introduction to your superheroes where you get the full flavor.
Right. And I get that completely. I do. This is, to me, is more of a hardcore comic book
geek out.
Yeah. If you don't really, really, really know the comic books, I can see where this could be frustrating to watch. And I do think that's what the director was trying to do, is he's trying to
throw a bone to your hardcore fans.
Well, at the same time, I think he's trying to play both sides of the fence. He wanted to make a horror movie that would draw in other people, but at the same time keep the hardcore comic book geeks satisfied. And I think he failed on the one side.
Yeah.
But I think if you really look at it, the comic book people shouldn't be pissed off. They should be pretty happy with this.
Okay. I will give you that.
But I can completely understand you're being frustrated with it. So good to have disagreements once in a while. Always good. Some more movie news. Big news today. Big, monstrous movie news. Amazon bought MGM for $8.45 billion.
Good God, how much money do they freaking have? That is...
Well, that gives them all control over the James Bond catalog and the Rocky catalog.
True.
Now, the rumors immediately started circulating. What is this going to do for the next James Bond movie? Amazon insists they will release it in theaters. It will not be a Amazon Prime.
They can't do that to the people. Well, they could.
What happens after that, though?
Yeah, then all bets are off.
And what can they do with the Bond universe?
Oh, Lord, help us.
The Rocky universe.
You know, we could, out of the Bond universe, get a Felix Leiter.
Felix Leiter.
Felix Leiter.
Yeah.
We could get
Pennyworth.
That could be intriguing.
Oh, Moneypenny. I'm sorry, Moneypenny. I'm sorry, I'm getting mixed up with Epics and Batman.
Yes.
Pennyworth. No, Moneypenny.
Moneypenny could be an intriguing. Her dealings with all the 00 agents.
That could be really cool.
And is she an agent in some regard herself?
God, I hope they scrap the plans they had originally for what the rumors were they were going to do.
Yeah,
after
I know.
No Time to Die, because if they follow through on that, and that's the sad thing, is I think Amazon probably loves it.
Yeah, and that could be the death of the franchise.
Yes.
Because if you want to go where they want to go, start a new series.
Doesn't have to be 007. You can change the name. You can change the number.
And everyone is happy.
Well, depends if the movie's great or sucks. But
yeah.
Yeah.
But at least you're not tarnishing
the legacy.
Yeah.
One of the greatest movie legacies ever. Like you've tarnished countless TV and movie legacies over the last 30 years in the name of political correctness. All right. Couple trailers that hit this week. Marvel's Eternals.
I don't know how I feel about this one. It's the gods bringing upon their knowledge to the idiots.
They're interfering in history is what the implication is in the trailer.
Yeah.
They've decided to step into history where they've been sitting back and watching.
Yeah. We'll see. It didn't give me great
The cast does not impress me.
No, not at all.
And the trailer, I've watched it a couple times. I kind of like the humor at the ending, but other than that, looks like it's going to be a train wreck.
It does. It just does not.
No, I like where they're sitting around a table.
And the guy goes, "Oh, I could lead the Avengers."
Yeah. Because they say Iron Man and Steve Rogers are gone.
Yeah. Who's going to lead the Avengers? I could.
Yeah. Again, my thing is with Marvel, at least until Disney got a hold of them, I've had faith in them. They made the Guardians of the Galaxy great. I watched the end of that last night. I mean, literally busting a gut watching the end with Groot dancing and Drax, Dave Bautista sitting there sharpening his knife, trying to find him, catch him dancing. I mean, just that
it was
minute-long sequence is brilliant. So I'm hoping against hope that Marvel will be able to recapture that magic in a bottle. But I don't know. This trailer does not give me the same hope I had after seeing the sneak peeks of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Now, on the horror realm, I loved the first Escape Club or Escape Room. Escape Club. What am I? Wild West. We're not doing music anymore, Kev. No, Escape Room. The first Escape Room was phenomenal. I've watched it at least 5 times, as I told the conquistador, trying to get him to watch it. Again,
I have been so put off horror movies over the last
this is not
years.
gory. This is not gory. This is intense.
They have been so
this is suspenseful.
poorly done.
I know. This is not. Escape Room is well done. And that's what
people told me about The Witch too.
Well, I didn't get suckered into watching The Witch.
Oh.
But I had to turn off the trailer for Escape Room Tournament of Champions, is what the official title is. And I will not say anything more than that's a fitting title for the movie. But because it's a series of escape rooms, obviously, that you have to get through, anybody who's watched the first one knows this, do not watch the trailer. What I saw looked phenomenal. Do not watch the trailer because they will already tell you everything about the first escape room. So the first half an hour is pretty much ruined by the trailer. And of course, our friend, Aaron the Big Easy, the other night, told us he does not like to watch trailers because
they
of
give
that.
Too much
and
away.
You and I both said, well, usually the first ones are okay. The teasers, nope. And what do? They come right out of the gate and screw me.
They F you with the teaser.
So do not watch the teaser trailer. Do not watch any of the teaser trailers. Escape Room Tournament of Champions looks phenomenal. I will be seeing it. Dave, I have some HBO Max news for you.
Oh, God, now what?
No, you might like good and bad. Good and bad. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
The sequel to Evil Dead is coming to HBO Max. Evil Dead Rise is currently in pre-production. They've already cast it.
So they're bringing the Necronomicon back?
Ash will not be in this. No Bruce Campbell.
F it.
Yeah, it's about a couple of estranged sisters who happen to meet in the city. Of course it
is.
So this is not in a cabin in the woods. This is in a big city setting. So
do we get the Necronomicon?
I would assume at least we get that.
And they better damn well go to S-Mart.
Yeah, but good Lord, without Bruce Campbell, is it really the Evil Dead?
No, it's not.
That's the thing that bothers me about this is now Sam Raimi, he's bringing everybody back from behind the scenes from the original Evil Dead. So I've got to believe
some semblance of hope for it.
There is legitimacy. There is legitimacy here.
At least there's legitimacy with it. We'll see what happens.
Okay, I think I have to turn this over now to Uncle Dave. I think Uncle Dave has story time for you kids.
We do have Uncle Dave's story time. So, going out to dinner yesterday, youngest boy's talking about, it's finals week coming up here and the next couple days for him. And he said, tomorrow, as we tape on Wednesday, the 26th, Thursday, the 27th, he's got his construction CTE final. And on Friday, the 28th, the teacher said, well, since we got the final out of the way, we'll kind of take it easy, and it's construction related, so we're going to watch The Money Pit with Tom Hanks and Shelley Long. Yeah, it's the construction movie, the home renovation project from hell. It's hysterical. It's well worth going back into the banks. So the boys are talking about it, my oldest and my youngest, saying, yeah, it was pretty funny. But of course, they always have to go back to their favorite Tom Hanks movie, The Burbs. So
the lesson there, kids, is
Tom Hanks comedies are the best.
of course, which one will we always defer to?
Oh, we'll always go back to Chicks and
Guns and Fire Trucks! Bachelor Party with the late, great Tawny Katane.
And
we should probably devote all of 2021 to Tawny Katane.
Yeah. So,
between Whitesnake videos and Bachelor Party.
Yep. Unfortunately, she wasn't in Volunteers either.
Another one. That's one I have to watch. I still have not watched Volunteers.
Oh, John Candy.
There are a lot of movies. We've got time here, so I'm going to let Dave rip me to shreds as we had a couple minutes before we go to our TV streaming segment. I have not watched The Man with One Red Shoe.
You're not missing much with that one.
I'm trying to think here. Okay, Volunteers I've watched. I did watch. See, I'm not as big a fan of The Burbs as everybody else. I like it, don't love it. The Money Pit, same thing, but I do agree with your story. That's a great movie for kids to watch.
For home reno projects.
Anybody who owns a house knows that basically 95% of the time it is a money pit.
Yeah. Once you start on a project, you pull that thread and it continues to unravel in the worst possible way.
Great analogy. Yes. So, but that being said, I love Tom Hanks. I do. You know, he's got the rom-com crap with Meg Ryan. Now, Joe versus the Volcano.
All right, that is a whole different ball game.
Brain Cloud.
But
you've got Mail and Sleepless in Seattle.
Those can just go bye-bye. Joe versus the Volcano is the most underrated.
Yes, and it's romantic, yet it's smart and funny. It's a little subversive too.
It is. Taking this luggage with us wherever we go.
So there's my little mini rant on Tom Cruise. So kids,
Tom Hanks.
What is he? Tom? See, you got me all messed up because I know you hate Tom Cruise. We were talking about him recently.
Yeah. So there you go, kids.
Sorry, Tom Hanks. All right, we'll be right back with our TV and streaming reviews for the week. Hang on. When your day of dealing with international intrigue is over and you've settled down in your Aston Martin, call up Sports Frenzy 2.0 on your phone or smart car stereo. Every Thursday, Kevin Dave will take your mind off the megalomaniac who just had a laser pointed at your genitals with the best sports criticism around. And don't forget to listen to the Weekend Edition every Saturday so you can plan out your entertainment options with the femme fatale of your choice. Grab a martini, shaken, not stirred, and check out Frenzy, Sports Frenzy 2.0. Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Frenzy 2.0. I am the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the conquistador, Dave Height.
We're going to wrap up the weekend edition. This is going to hit on May the 29th, 2021, Memorial Day weekend. And remember now, we have gotten rid of all of our music. So we'll still review it. We'll still talk about it. But in order to get this out to Apple and Google, Pocket Cast, and all those other great hosts that we have normally on our regular Sports Frenzy podcast show, we have gotten rid of that so you can listen to this each and every week.
Yep. We know what a hassle it was for you to try and create a Spotify account, you lazy bastards.
You didn't have to pay for it. We weren't asking you to get premium.
We tried to give you some music. But if you don't want it, now you just get the ranting and railing you come to expect.
That's right. Couldn't have said it better myself, Conquistador. So we're going to wrap up here with the TV and streaming segment of the weekend edition. Then we'll get you to the moments of silence and, of course, the 180 to get you to the Red Foreman dumbasses of the week. But first, I have not one, not two, but 3 TV reviews for you this week. And then we'll get some TV streaming news in for you. And we will talk about our favorite TV show coming back this week.
Yep.
And give you a little bit of
You champs will like this one.
Mini review of the first 2 episodes that hit last night.
So, and I have a series finale for you too, kids.
First up, I have tried to recommend this show to the Conquistador, but I did tell him I did not like the way it turned at the end of the first season. And now I have a review of the second season. This is Breeders on FX with Martin Freeman, who I love. Great actor. Of course, he was Watson on the fantastic Sherlock PBS miniseries / just standalone show.
Yeah.
I wish they could get them back together, him and Benedict Cumberbatch, to do some more, but
their schedules are all over the damn place.
Yeah, Cumberbatch especially is probably too big now to come back and do it, but if you have never watched Sherlock,
oh, you've got to check it out.
Yeah,
they are
fantastic.
Phenomenal.
So Martin Freeman and Daisy Haggard play initially they play live-in man and woman, and then eventually they get married, so now they're husband and wife with 2 kids, a boy and a girl.
Your nuclear family.
The first season started off hysterically. It was almost like a British version of Everybody Loves Raymond, where the father's a doofus, but he's funny in his anger, in his rage, and his, how the kids are frustrating him and he can't figure out why they think the way they do when he's just trying to get them to exercise common sense. So for the first 6 or 7 episodes of season 1, I was really into it, really loved it. And Daisy Haggard was really good as his girlfriend / wife. And then at the end of season 1, it took a turn. It took a downturn. It started to get really serious. And I thought, well, hopefully season 2 will jump back into the whole dark humor type of thing. And unfortunately, season 2 turned out to be more of the same as it went with the end of season 1. It's really dark. It's not funny. Martin Freeman's father is portrayed as a rageaholic. He just they make him out to be now in this day and age, a stereotypical angry white father who can't relate to his kids, and all he does is fly off the handle, and all he does is get mad, and the mother's trying to deal with it. And for better or worse, sometimes yes, he is overly upset, sometimes no, the writers go too far in blaming him and making him the villain. So that being said, his daughter really never gets involved in the storyline in season 2. His son is the problem, and his son is an asshole! His son, Luke, is an absolute ass bag. And I am all with Martin Freeman's character in season 2. He gets vilified. He gets made out to be the bad guy. He's trying to do the best. He keeps catching Luke lying, going out and trying to buy pot, doing stuff you should never let your kids do, and yet he still somehow, everybody around him tells him he's wrong. He's not PC enough. He doesn't understand. I would have done exactly the same things that he's done in season 2. That being said, because of the fact he keeps getting made out to be the villain. And there is some other stuff going on between him and his wife where she's wrong, and yet somehow we're supposed to say, oh, well, you got to understand why she did what she did. No, she was wrong. Typical garbage for the 21st century. Second season of Breeders gets 2 frenzies from me. Not recommended.
All right, I will scratch that one off my watch list.
Yeah, it didn't really get into the second season very much.
Okay. Well, I'm going to talk about CBS's reboot of MacGyver. After 5 seasons, they called it quits. We got the series finale. And they were leading up to this one throughout this whole last season. The whole nanobot escapade that the couple of the characters, including MacGyver, were infected with, kind of run rampant on them trying to find a way to get them out of them. And lo and behold, it's a U.S. government conspiracy. The government funds the Phoenix Foundation's projects. I expected somebody to die. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. It was a cop-out on the way it ended. But the big takeaway, kids, never trust the government. It was okay what they did overall, but they got carried away way too much with some of their PC stuff. It wasn't overt like a lot of things are, but it was kind of lackluster. And the end of this one felt like just leaving the door open to be able to do a movie or something else down the line.
Or go to Paramount Plus.
Yeah, there could be that too. So it was all right. I'll give it a 2.
2 frenzies. Yeah. Well, you know how I feel. I have ranted and raved about CBS forever and ever and weeks upon weeks because they just don't seem to get the fact that at some point in time, you got to give us original stories with original characters.
Now, they did, well, they were fairly original stories, but they would get on.
Was he getting out of predicaments with gum and a paperclip?
From time to time. Well, actually, no. He went far and above with a lot of the different things he did, and the time frame with which to do it was absolutely ridiculous. So, I mean,
I've told
come on. In his kitchen, he made a freaking diamond to turn into an engagement ring.
So you like that?
It was kind of lame-ish. I mean, just some of the stuff they did.
We've talked about the Equalizer, though, and Hawaii Five-0 and Magnum P.I. Just for the love of God, come up with new characters and new shows. I'm sorry.
Some of this stuff would have been decent. A lot of the storylines, and I can get into Magnum because I've been watching that this last season.
Okay.
And, yeah, the characters are okay. I mean, with Higgins being the woman and his Magnum's partner in the investigations, that's kind of a nice little twist, the way they play off of each other and work together on it. It's not horrible, but it would have been better off being a completely different series other than being called Magnum P.I.
But, of course, they would never have gotten off the ground and gotten approved
without it.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's the storylines on it. You could have the whole dynamic between everybody as a whole different show with different character names.
Oh, and speaking of CBS, by the way, I made a mistake when we had our Sports Frenzy Monday meeting here a couple days ago. I told you that Evil, which I'm shocked. I thought you liked this more than I did.
I enjoyed it, but there were a couple things that, as we were talking, started to grate a little bit.
I did like Evil. I did really like it.
I do want to see the next.
Yeah, but here's the problem. This is where I'm going to make my apology to you.
Because it wasn't CBS.
No, they renewed it, but like Clarice, it's going to Paramount Plus.
Oh, come on!
So Evil Season 2 will not be on CBS. It will be on Paramount Plus. So once again...
So I am not going to be watching Season 2 because I am not paying for Paramount Plus.
Yeah, once again, you're trying to fracture your TV audience, your streaming audience, and I'm telling you, at some point in time, CBS, NBC, HBO, you are going to get to the point where one or two of you are going to fail miserably and crash and burn.
Yeah, it's just getting ridiculous, this crap that they're pulling.
Now, unfortunately for me, one of my favorite shows of the past season is in limbo. Even though the season has pretty much officially ended, the TV season, all these shows are shortened because of COVID. You know, they couldn't get out and tape full seasons. So 13 episodes of Debris on NBC came to a close this past Monday. 3.5 Frenzies. This show was your X-Files fix, is what this was. This was X-Files for the 21st century. I loved it. Couple quirky things, couple weird things that I wanted them to explain. Wrapped up the other night, and it's in limbo. Like I said, it's not renewed, it's not canceled. This could be going to Peacock Premium. You know, who knows? But it was a battle between these two agents working for a conglomerate called Orbital, which was a U.S. and British intelligence agency. And they were fighting a terrorist organization called Influx, all trying to find pieces of debris from a spacecraft that had shattered and broken apart in the Earth's orbit. Now, here's the thing. They kept the PC crap to an absolute minimum, which I loved.
Brilliant.
So I didn't have to deal with that like you have to with 90% of these shows. Jonathan Tucker and Rayon Steele were the two agents. Both very, very good. And I knew Jonathan Tucker from somewhere. I knew him from somewhere. I had to look it up today, writing up this review. He has been in Justified and he's been in Hannibal. So how can he not be a badass? Wrong? And he is really good as a lead agent. He is awesome. But now at the end of season 1, they reveal there's something more going on with him. But of course, I don't know if we're ever going to find out. They did a really good job of setting up conspiracies and storylines and threads. There is a little bit of a goofy one at the end where there's a ball of light that kind of floats around, and you know, is that the alien presence that actually is attached?
Yeah, well,
to
at
all
least
the
it's
debris.
not the silver ball floating around.
What, like Phantasm?
Yeah. The floating ball of death.
And if you haven't seen Phantasm, go out and see Phantasm. One of the greatest horror movies of all time. But Debris is really good. Like I said, 3.5 Frenzies. But again, I don't know if we're going to see any more episodes. But I do want to tie this into something you and I talked about a while ago, Dave. I bitched and pissed and moaned about Hulu. Because when I first signed up for Hulu, when they gave me a $3 a month promo, one of the main reasons I got it was because I was led to believe I would get every FX show, old and new.
Right.
And I got on there and I started watching one of our favorite shows of all time, Terriers. And they took it away.
The bastards.
Guess what they put back?
They brought back terriers.
Yeah, because I think they realized they fucked up. They realized they fucked up, and they brought back terriers. So guess what I'm watching now?
Terriers.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Left or right?
One of the greatest conundrums in television history, left or right. And if you do not understand it, and I don't expect you to,
watch the show.
I get it. The conquistador gets it, left or right. I've also tried to watch, I might stick with it, I might not. MODOK just started on Hulu, a Marvel claymation series. For those of you who don't know, MODOK is one of Captain America's biggest foes.
Yes, the floating head.
MODOK stands for Mental Mobile Mechanized Organism Designed Only for Killing. So that's pretty awesome in and of itself. But Patton Oswalt voices MODOK in this kind of, like I said, claymation series. It's so far, I've watched the first episode. It's kind of funny.
So it's kind of like Robot Chicken meets Marvel.
Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, it is. It is. So, Dave, I want you to tell the people about our favorite show that just started this week.
Oh, baby. Mr. In Between, that brilliant show from Australia, is back on FX, kids. Oh, follow Ray and his conundrum of being a loving, caring father and a vicious hitman. I mean, what more can you say about that?
Yeah, we're trying to hold off on. We're not going to do a review of the full season until obviously it's done, which will be a couple months in, probably mid to late summer. But
the first episode,
first two.
Well, yeah, the first two show you the parallel lives this guy has to live, and how he kind of struggles to keep it together.
And we have learned, never call anyone champ.
No. Especially if you're in prison in Australia. It will get your ass kicked.
But there will be more coming with Mr. In Between because it is a four frenzy show.
It is, without a doubt.
The first two seasons, four frenzies, both. And right now it's looking like season 3's heading that way too.
It's dark, it's raw, it's uncut.
It's bloody and it's wrong and it's awesome. And it's well written. That's the thing.
Well written and well acted.
Yep. All right. So going back to Hulu for a second, I did finish up Sasquatch, the 3-episode documentary about Bigfoot / pot farmers. I give it 2.5 frenzies. It's misleading. It is misleading.
So it's more about pot farming than Bigfoot.
Yeah. I think
is Sasquatch what they call their?
I think they were trying to rope you in with calling it Sasquatch in the first episode, referring to Bigfoot and going and talking to a couple of Bigfoot hunters, quote unquote. And then, of course, it comes into pot farming and in this area in Northern California where all they do is grow pot and kill each other, and the Hell's Angels are in there. And so in and of itself, that's why I'm giving it a decent rating of 2.5, is because in and of itself, it's not a terrible true crime documentary. It's only 3 episodes, so you're not wasting a ton of time. But that being said, it's still misleading. Okay, it's not about Sasquatch. It's not about Bigfoot. It's about pot growers killing each other.
Well, there you go.
Oh, Dave, by the way, did you know that the Friends reunion is tomorrow night? Debuting May the 27th on HBO Max. How do you feel about that?
I heard something about that. I might watch it at some point.
I have heard so far early reviews are terrible.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Especially James Corden is hosting. So, what are they going to do? Karaoke car with Jennifer Aniston.
If they
If
wanted,
she takes her top off, I'll be there.
if they
I'm all
wanted
there.
to do a Friends,
That would be HBO Max.
yes, it would. No, if you wanted to do a Friends reunion, don't do this talk show host bullshit stuff. Do an actual show of where they are now as the characters.
Yeah. And of course, people are freaking out about Matthew Perry looking pretty rough here, talking pretty rough recently, slurring his words. And so we'll see. Maybe we'll have a review next week. But now it's time for our moments of silence. Not a ton this week, but
we've got a couple.
Yep. I will start off with Mark York of The Office. Unfortunately, he was pretty much the same age as I am, 55. And of course, Steve Carell made fun of him in The Office.
Who didn't he make fun
as a disabled person?
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with that kind of humor, but
couldn't do it today, kids.
Nope. But we'll give him a moment of silence and then move on to Dave.
Actor Samuel E. Wright, best known for being the voice of Sebastian the crab in the whole Little Mermaid universe, from the movie to the TV show and all of that stuff, passed away. He was also a prominent character actor in a bunch of TV shows back through the 80s. Even starred in, or not starred, but had a role in one of your favorites, Spencer for Hire.
Oh! One of the greatest shows ever.
Yep, so Simon and Simon, Cosby Show, did ABC after school specials, so.
Persian thoughts to him and his family. And now we move on, as we always do, with a 180 to the dumbasses of the week.
The morons of the world.
In tribute to the man who always called it outright, Red Foreman.
Yep.
I have to start out first with John Cena. John Cena, the wrestler, the actor now.
The children's book author.
John Cena had to backtrack after he, misspoke, quote unquote, and called Taiwan a country in a press conference promoting the next Fast and Furious movie. Well, here's the problem. China, just like we've talked about in the past with the NBA, China has such a hold on our culture that John Cena had to put an apology on Twitter saying, I'm so sorry that I called Taiwan a country. Why? Because China thinks they own Taiwan. So Taiwan is not a country to them.
Anymore.
And of course, Taiwan, compared to China in terms of economics, is nothing. So John Cena had to make sure, F9 can't be boycotted, can't be protested in China. So he had to say, I'm so sorry to China for actually calling Taiwan a country. You're a pussy! I don't care if you're 270 pounds and you're a professional wrestler. You're a pussy because you can't stand up for yourself.
Stop pandering.
You could have at least couched it another way. But your people got to you and said,
you got to do this. We
kiss
need
ass.
To make the money.
Kiss China's ass.
We need their millions.
Shame on you, John Cena.
All right. My dumbass is going into the music world. Megadeth co-founder and the bassist David Ellefson. Dude, really? Sexual misconduct allegations, grooming an underage girl online, using social media, videos, instant messages. Come on! Seriously. Oh, she claims she was overage. Dude, you're in your 50s. You should not be messing with an 18-year-old even. Come on. And especially in this day and age, with everything going on, truly a fucking dumbass.
And he's been fired from Megadeth.
Yeah, they booted his ass out, and rightfully so. You don't need that crap.
All right, I'm going to wrap up the weekend edition here with one of my favorite targets, Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen, podhead idiot that he is, seems to think he's smarter than everybody else. So he came out and he said, I don't understand why these comedians are so upset about cancel culture, because if you say something offensive, you deserve to be called out for it, because I've never said anything offensive in my life. Check my Twitter account. So Seth Rogen is now the paragon of virtue for the free world. Seth Rogen has said, and it's a quote, he has never said anything on Twitter that he regrets.
Dirty Randy.
You lying sack of crap. Number one, I want my money back for This Is the End, because it was one of the worst movies I ever saw in my life.
And you got vilified by Emma Watson over it for your conduct and comments.
And I'm not a big James Franco fan, but I'll tell you what, I would never turn my back on the Conquistador, my best friend. And you turned your back on him because of accusations that were made on him. Stand by your friends until the bitter goddamn end. You are a hack. You are a PC nothing. I hope cancel culture comes back and bites you in the ass. I don't like you. You take away Pineapple Express. You have put nothing out there that I give one rat's ass about. I was trying to get through this weekend, Dave, without really getting mad, but I guess it didn't work.
It never works. We may have to have a famous psychologist come and make a comment on that sometime in the future.
Oh, God. I don't know who we'd get. I don't want Dr. Phil.
You never know.
Somebody sexual? Dr. Ruth?
Dr. Ruth?
Yeah, let's get Dr. Ruth on. That would be the perfect guest for Sports Frenzy. Dr. Ruth. Wow. I have listened to your episodes, and you have pent up semen in your testicles.
You need to do a release.
You need to masturbate at least 14 times a day in order to stop yelling and screaming about Seth Rogen. You are the one who has the problem, Maestro.
Wow, that went downhill in a hurry.
Finally, after all this taping, we finally got to the point we wanted. The bottom!
That's where we live.
For the Conquistador Dave Height.
He's the Maestro Kevin Crane.
We love you, kids. Check us out all over Spotify, Google, Apple. We will check you out next week. We love you.
Peace.